ready for this?
Are
Hey,
you
stop sitting
ready
on
for
the
this?
campfire.
Get off the campfire, Bet.
If I don't sit on it, it's going to despawn and my butt's cold.
Get off the campfire.
Get off.
Alright. And now, for a dramatic reading by John Johns of a story called The Omega Force. Written by John Johns. Directed by John Johns. Featuring everyone else.
I'm gonna mute myself just so I don't have to laugh.
Okay. It was a dark and stormy night here on Araxis. Down at the Havar tech plant, the NC wanted freedom, and the Vanu spandex was tighter than usual. But this is all irrelevant information, as this story does not take place down at the Havar tech plant. Meanwhile, at the Weimar Logging Company, the O-Force was busy holding off a platoon of over 48 trillion NC soldiers. The strikers lit up the night, and the bodies piled higher and smaller as they respawned. Everything was going well for the O-Force, when suddenly, an infiltrator shot Shane in the head and he died. Being dead, Shane did the logical thing and yelled out, "Medic!" Then, Diabix was all hero-like and revived Shane, saving him from certain death. John Johns then said, "Good job everyone," as that is all he ever does. All of a sudden, a lone vanguard blew up Johnny Rock, so Diabix was all hero-like again and ran to save him. The lone vanguard wasn't no stupid though, because he had suspected Diabix would revive him, so he parked himself on Johnny Rock's body. Diabix couldn't get to Johnny Rock to save him, so she ran right into the trap and died. Brajo was then so distraught over Diabix's death that he flung himself from the spawn room, flung himself on his flash, and rode off angrily in all directions. The NC saw Brajo and shot rockets at him, but Brajo, rocking his 5 to 12 frames a second, dodged the rockets and killed all of the NC in slow motion. But then, the lone vanguard blew up Brajo because everyone had forgotten about it, including John Runs, who was busy saying good job. But then, Migue fell from the sky with a force of over 20 million suns, and said, "No one kills Diabix, or Brajo, or Johnny Rock, or Shane, or anyone else except me. This isn't over." To be continued?
I don't
Thoughts?
remember it happening that way.
What happened to 2 chapters because we missed the last one?
Chapter 2 is coming up right now. Okay. And now.
It had to be done. It had to be done.
Okay. I get the fire going. Nice. Alright. Now, for part 2 of the Omega Force. Part 2, Migue's Revenge. The lone NC Vanguard laughed maniacally at Migue from a distance. Migue then said, "You have killed my friends, so now you will die." "I don't think so," the Vanguard said, and shot its big fat cannon at him. Migue didn't even flinch, and with the speed of a billion hummingbirds, he raised his trusty dusty Rams 50 and shot the tank shell out of the air. The lone NC Vanguard wasn't laughing anymore. When the smoke cleared, Migue stood up, closed his helmet, and said, "My turn." In a flash, Migue was upon the Vanguard. The NC inside was crying, "No, not the paint!" And Migue, very slowly, scraped the paint off the tank with his trusty dusty chain blade. Naked and alone, the Vanguard said, in horror, "What are you?" Migue then put on his sunglasses and said, "I am Migue Ramirez V." He then slapped down 2 C4 in slow motion and said, "I am the heartless force of Omega Force, the reaper of souls, the harbinger of death, and you will know my vengeance." He then jumped off the Vanguard and blew it up, putting the NC out of his misery. By that point, everyone in the O-Force had respawned, and everyone was happy. John Johns then walked up to his fellow soldier and hero and said, "Migue, you did some damn good work out there," and then walked away because his job was done. And everyone cheered, and Shane played the tuba, because that is how he has fun. And Brajor watched his slideshow, and Diabix healed some wounds, and Aku kissed a tree, and Johnny Rock said something nice to someone, and Jerkadir asked what sniper rifle he should bring, because that is what the O-Force does. Nice work, everyone, John said over the mic. Redeploy to Warp Gate, and get ready to kill some stuff. To be continued? Alright. So the best thing you've ever heard, right? Right?
Easily.
Hell yeah.
Oh god, you brought up memories of Aku. I miss Aku so much.
Alright. Stay tuned for Chapter 3 next week.
Nice.
Alright, to
That
Warp
was
Gate.
hilarious, John.
So dumb.